Here we go. Carl Ribaudo in the house. It's beautiful weather, beautiful adventure. You hear me start off every show. What adventure you're going to get after today? Well, he does that daily, whether a motorcycle, bicycle, or just hoofing it with his hush puppies, man. We got you've gorgeous weather. What have you been up to? You've been out on a bike? I'm guessing you have.
You know, I've been out on a bike and a motorcycle, Sean, but I was out Saturday, on power line, and I began to think about how much bicycling has grown
Yeah,
over the last few years. It really has exploded, and I started thinking about, what's all that about, and
it's a
and
good
we
question.
certainly have transitioned, huh?
It is a transition. It's interesting. I had the old Schwinn bike back in the day. You're just like you had
Yeah.
two wheels to pedal and the chain that didn't fall off every 5 seconds. But now the game has really upped. We'll definitely get into some e-bike conversations as well. But what do you think is the reason for this fascination and love? Of course, we're in Tahoe, right? And there's tons of beautiful trails out here, and we have some world-class athletes who compete in this space, of course. But why do you think there is this beautiful trend? I mean, part of it, environmental impact, I would
Yeah.
imagine, is a big component to that.
I think there's a couple things, and I think you've hit on one. Is we have more trails now. When I first moved here, there were very few bike trails, either on dirt or on pavement. In fact, you used to ride your bike down the middle of the street, or
Yeah.
on the side of the street. So that's been a big thing. Fitness has certainly played into it. The culture of Tahoe is a fitness-oriented culture. I think there's a much higher environmental awareness, with the cost of gas and all the
Yeah.
rest of that and so forth. And then, lastly, this boom in e-bikes has really been dynamic, just incredible.
Yeah, it sort of opened up the space for anybody to get out. Even, a buddy of mine came in, he brought his e-bike. I could just go further, see more things,
Yeah.
of course, on an e-bike, more than I could, for example, just on a regular bike. And yeah, we are a fitness culture up here, and of course with world-class athletes. But, I've talked about forest bathing. You and I have these conversations about just getting in nature. But do you think there's some health and wellness elements to the everyday user that just says, I just want to get out and deeper into nature?
I think so. I think anytime people get into the wild is good for them. Mental health, physical health, just get out there, go see the lake, ride through a forest, whatever you can do to pedal through on a trail in a meadow, just get out and be outside. That's got to be healthy in so many ways for so many people. And I think it's become an integrated part of our culture, and I think that's a big part of it. And the technology has allowed people, you see people on some of the trails or the paved bike paths. These people would not be on a bike were it not for, a pedal assist electric bike. And I think it's just great that everybody's outside and enjoying the outside.
That is the ultimate, man. Everyone just getting on outside. And you said the culture, because are you seeing perhaps a shape, and I'm seeing this, we talk about community connection a lot,
Yeah.
whether you're a tourist and you're coming up or whether you live here. But these, I saw it yesterday, right, because it was a beautiful day to go out and bike.
Yeah.
But they come in groups and packs. Are you think you're seeing more groups and organizations kind of have their biking clubs now?
I think more and more, biking can be a solo activity, one for solitude and enjoyment of the outdoors, but it's also a wonderful group activity where people, come together and they're yakking it up as they ride, or at least
Yeah.
after their ride, they got a lot to talk about and relive the experience. I think it's certainly an activity that people can bind together on and be a shared experience, solo or shared experience. A bike works.
Yeah, we talk about it quite often with solo travel, where you get to sort of adopt what you love, what you don't like, and then when you have this community, and now you're with a group of people who enjoy, because there are different levels. Like my neighbor, he competes, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, if you ever want to go bike riding," I'm like, "Dude, I don't think we're going to be on the same level." But if people want to have more of these conversations with you, whether you're a business or an individual, what's the best way to reach out to you, Carl?
I'd love to hear from anybody, Carl at smgonline.net. And I really think these kinds of conversations are really part of, South Shore, North Shore, the whole lakes culture.
Well said. That conversation in and of itself, when you say now North Shore, South Shore, I'm fascinated how they're two different cultures, so to speak, and sometimes they don't always click. I'm like, I don't get that. We all came up here for this beautiful experience of mountains, lake, beaches, and forests, and that thing right there is one of those that binds us, as getting outside into nature.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Carl. Appreciate you. And always great to have you here, especially on a Motivational Monday, my friend. We'll see you out there in the wilderness.
Have a good week.
All right. Aloha, my man.